Hello, Catherine.
So happy to be here. Thank you so much for this
Yeah,
opportunity.
we're very thrilled to have you. So today we're going to cast a wider net, beyond recruitment and talent management. We're talking to a leader who has great insight on leadership, and she has built a great company, the Halpin Company. And she's here to actually share with us what actually moved the needle, the lesson learned, and how she got to where she is today and what she's focusing on doing. And of course, the impact of AI in her business strategies. And that person is no other than Katharin Halpin.
Thank you, Phoebe. Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome to our podcast. Katharin is the strategic advisor at the Halpin Company. And of course, they've done a great job. The company is so big that when I visited the website, I'm like, oh my God, this is it. This is the dream of anybody that wants building a business.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And
Thank
again,
you.
I'm thrilled in so many things, knowing you pivoted from being a CPA to a leadership consultant. And my God, it's so motivating. So you don't have to be stuck to where you are. You can make the next move. And
Right.
you've really moved to a higher position and higher service and purpose, which is
Yes,
great.
definitely for me.
Yeah, and again, there's some skills and attributes you have. One of them is say you thrive in turning tide from fear to opportunity, which is great leadership skill. And they say you have your gifts lie in seeing solutions where others sees conflict. That's great. And you identify patterns that weave the bigger picture from what seems like desperate thread.
Yes,
These are
yes.
these are really actually very
That's true.
important leadership skill.
Yes, that's all
Yeah,
true.
and it's very great. So today we're going to dive in. But before we dive in, this is how the podcast will go. It's going to be three parts. It's a conversation, no scripted question. Feel free to share. We're looking at want to learn from you what brought you to where you are, your insights. So we're going to start with your background and the industry trend you're seeing. We discuss your current challenges and the vision of the Helping Group.
Mhm.
Then we finally wrapped up by exploring any next step solutions that make sense. Does that sound like a good use of
That
our
sounds
time?
great. Yes, sounds
Okay.
so good.
Okay, so let's dive in. Catherine, thank you once again.
Thank you,
Can
Phoebe.
you share a bit about your role and how we fit into the bigger picture of the Helping Group?
Sure. So, as you mentioned, I started my career as a CPA, and that's
Yeah.
because my dad was a CPA here in Vicksburg, Mississippi. That's on the
Okay.
river, don't you know? And so it just seemed like a good fit, but it was a horrible fit. When first of all, he wanted me to go to college, but he didn't see any point in me becoming a college graduate. So every semester it became more and more difficult for me to get my tuition money together. So when I was 21 years old, I was divinely inspired, and the message I got was, "You got to get out of here."
Ooh.
And so I escaped at age 21, and got to Dallas, and I finished my degree in Dallas. I got myself a job as a paraprofessional tax accountant because I had so much tax background with my dad.
Mhm.
And it was an international accounting firm. At that time, there were eight, and now there's only four. So it was one of those eight. And I worked in the downtown Phoenix office. And I went on to work in an oil and gas company and a nonprofit. And I pretty much did everything an accountant could do, and I didn't like any of it. I really wasn't very good at it, Phoebe, because I'm a people person. My
Oh,
dad was a people person, so he would spend all day talking to his clients about their vision for their company or their vision for their family. And then at nights and weekends, he had to do the work, the accounting work, the financial statements, and the tax returns. So he passed away at age 55, shortly after I left, from the stress of working those long hours.
hmm.
So
Sorry
so
about that.
that was one factor that helped me see I got to do something different.
Yeah.
So I first thought I might be a mediator, but there's not that much mediation going on even today. And 35 years ago, when I used to have that thought, there was, you even if you're a retired federal judge, it's not that much mediation going on that you can make
Hmm.
a living.
Hmm.
So, but in one of the mediation courses, synchronistically, I so believe in synchronistic. Um, One of the leaders of this training program talked about business coaching, and this was in May of 1995, and I said to myself, "What is that?
Mm.
That's what I want to be."
Mm.
And I went home and told my spouse, and they said, well, that's all well and good, but you got to keep your day job. And so I kept my day job for 18 months. And I coached people on the side. And I synchronistically, again, right after I heard the term, then a magazine came across my desk with an article on career coaches.
Mhm.
And it was a little blurb at the bottom with an 800 number. And I called it. It was Thomas Leonard, the founder of the coaching profession, answered the phone. And he said, well, with your corporate background, you can be any kind of coach you want, corporate coach, executive coach. So I initially just coached micro-sized business owners. And then in January of 1997, I went full time. So about 18, a little bit over 18 months since I had first heard the term. I had gotten
Mhm.
into the training program with Thomas and was learning a lot, and was able to apply it in my last corporate
Mhm.
job.
Mhm.
And so I belong to a civic club. It was called Seroptimus, which is a coined phrase that means for the betterment of women. We were just
Mhm.
like the Rotary Club or the Kiwanis Club or the Lions Club. We had a mission, and our mission was to raise money and give away to programs that would benefit women and children.
Awesome.
And so I had already been a member of that. I really built my business out of that club membership. So a lot of young people today don't want to go to conferences. They don't want to belong to associations. They don't want to belong to civic clubs, but they're really missing out on the networking. So
Yeah.
the networking really paid off for me. And so really, for almost the past 30 years, almost every client has come by referral or introduction.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've
Great.
been in out of Phoenix. Now I no longer live in Phoenix. In May of 2022, we moved back to my hometown to be closer to family. COVID taught me I really wanted to be closer to
Yeah.
family and my
Mhm.
spouse's family too. So we've been back, but my referrals still come from the Phoenix community because I was there almost 30 years. I had such a strong network.
Wow.
And but I am doing a few marketing things now because I really want to accelerate the growth. I would like to get to 2 million in
Oh.
revenue
Okay.
before I retire. And I have some young. I've purposefully recruited some younger coaches. I
Okay.
have I have two that are older than me and two that are younger than me because I would like for them to continue to use my methodology and
Mhm.
client list. And I really don't have any plans to retire. I would be so bored, and I don't see this as work. It feels like I'm having important conversations with important people
Mhm.
about important topics. So I don't really have any near-term plans to retire for sure.
Awesome. That's very good. So, what are
Yeah.
the typical they look for you?
What does a typical client look like for me?
A typical they look for you at the helping company.
Oh, yes. Okay, so they could look for me. So on LinkedIn, Katharin Halpin, but I spelled Katharin funny,
Yeah.
Katharine, like Katharine Hepburn and Katherine Gates. And then
Okay. Sounds.
Halpin is H as in Howard, A as in Apple,
Mhm.
L as in Leonard, P as in
Mhm. Mhm.
Paul, I as in
Mhm.
Igloo, N as in
Mhm.
Nathan. So
Mhm.
Halpin. And I built, it's really the Halpin Companies. The legal name is Halpin Companies.
Mhm.
And the reason I selected the plural was because I wanted people to see us as facilitators, as
Mhm.
coaches, as
Mhm.
trainers,
Mhm.
as speakers. I wanted
Mhm.
people to see us that we were multifaceted because we are. So
Yeah.
that's why I selected the Halpin Companies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So, what major shift are you seeing in your industry right now?
Well, it's not right this minute. It's been going on for some time, but
Yeah.
a lot of people are coaches and they don't know that there's training and certification that you can get.
Okay.
And so I had many of those people come through my office in Phoenix after they would get themselves in over their head. They
Mhm.
would say, "Oh, I'm a coach, I'm a coach, I'm a coach," and they would be better salespeople than me. And so they would sell the services. I have to get mine by referral because I'm a genius level order taker when I get
Okay.
into marketing. And
Mhm.
so other people that were better at marketing could sell the work, but then they would get in over their head. It would be complicated. There's so
Mm.
many nuances when you're dealing with team dynamics. And
Yeah.
they would get in over their head and they would come to me, but I wasn't. I said, "Well, what kind of training do you have?" Well, and they would often say, "Well, I paid $39 for a course, but I never watched the course."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, you're going to have to pay considerably more than $39, and you're actually going to have to show up for the classes,
Yeah.
because like a graduate degree."
Mhm.
So I think that's one of the more difficult trends. And then I was on the first board of the International Coaching Federation,
Mm-hmm.
and our mission was to get credentialing certification so that you could tell between who was certified and who wasn't. And I got my credential, but I think even today, 25 years later, I don't think any. Well, really, it's almost 30 years. About 28 years ago, we established the credentialing portion of the membership, and even today, people it didn't really take off in a way that the general public knows. Oh, I should look for a certified coach, or I should look for a coach that has a credential. The general public doesn't really know that, so that's another trend that's unfortunate. But the good news is corporations have welcomed us. So I worked with Fortune 500,
Awesome.
but my favorite clients are the smaller, mid-sized hospitals and medical practices, privately owned
Mm-hmm.
organizations. Those are my favorite. With the because I was a female and it's my own firm. I wasn't part of McKinsey or Booz Allen, those big international firms.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in the Fortune 500 coaching, I never got to the C level. I got to people that reported to the C level,
Okay.
but I never got to the C level. And so that was a limitation. So that's another reason why I just do not work in the Fortune 500. I like working at the C level.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, how has AI impacted your business strategy at the Halpin company?
Well, um, I'm sad to say that I haven't really incorporated it into the strategy, but I just had that thought this morning as I was preparing for this interview or
Okay.
discussion. I thought I bet I could drop some things in, some strategic questions. So where it's been made a huge difference is in two ways. One, I do a lot of webinars and presentations, and if it's a webinar, I have to have a PowerPoint, to hold
Mm-hmm.
people's attention. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I do that now, instead of starting with a blank screen, I can put in my prompt. And
Mm-hmm.
then what I can do is take the Halpin method and the nuances and then edit what with the artificial intelligence. But the
Okay.
artificial intelligence is so comprehensive, but it doesn't get the nuances.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing that's been really good is sometimes I'll wake up and I'll want to send an important text to a client,
Mm-hmm.
and I keep a Word document, a Google Docs, open on my well, not open, but I can access it from an icon on my phone,
Mm-hmm.
and I can type in my prompt on that Google Doc, and whatever the topic is for the client,
Mm-hmm.
and then again, it's going to give me like a whole page answer. It's so good, but it doesn't reflect necessarily the Halpin companies. Although last week I did one and it did say, I can't remember the question, it was about leadership development of something, and it did say, and your own work, blah blah blah. So it was picking up on my work
Mm-hmm.
that's in this cloud, I guess, or that I've used AI for. But anyway, it's been huge for me because it's more comprehensive. It helps me think bigger, broader, and then I can edit however I need to for my
Yeah.
own clients so that they sound like my voice, and that
Mm-hmm.
includes the Halpin method, which is what they're trained in. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been hugely valuable. And as I thought about um, talent management
Mm-hmm.
and hiring and
Yeah.
recruiting,
Mm-hmm.
I think it can unleash just a tremendous wealth. I don't know if am I getting ahead of you, but just a tremendous wealth of resources for headhunters and executive search firms.
Yeah.
And
Okay, but
so,
beside your presentations and
mhm.
testing messages here and there, are there any areas you would like to incorporate AI?
Well, it's just ignorance on my part, but yes,
Okay.
of course I do, and I'm going to play with it after this. And I'll have some time over this week because I won't be working all week because of
Okay.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Just to
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
play with some of the prompts. Like I could
Mm-hmm.
put in, okay, my revenue is this. I want to get to 2 million every year, year in, year out.
Mm-hmm.
What are the steps I'm going to have to take? That would be hugely valuable.
Okay,
And I
awesome.
bet, and I bet I could get some good ideas.
Oh, absolutely. We can also offer some good idea if we have to.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So again, what is working well for you right now and what has been frustrating?
Well, the AI is certainly working, and my marketing efforts are taking off, so that's exciting. And then my frustrations, I can't really think of anything. Well, certainly I went through a period of transition, um, moving to Mississippi,
Okay.
but almost 3.5 years later, I've made good contacts with the Mississippi Hospital Association. I've spoken for them. I've done a webinar. I've been on a panel for them. I've moderated a panel.
Hmm.
So it's been slow, but I'm getting my name out there locally too. And
Yeah.
then my family's been here for 8 generations, and
Okay.
so my family knows a lot of people. I know a lot of people. People remember me. I didn't imagine that after being gone for almost 4 decades that people would remember me, but they do, and it's so heartwarming to be remembered.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. So, how do you currently measure success in the helping group, especially when you say your dream is to get to, is it 200 million or 2 million every
Just 2 million. We're small, so just two
year? 2
million.
million every year. Okay. So, how do you
Year.
measure? Yeah.
Well, how we've measured it traditionally has been by the success of the clients,
Mm-hmm.
their successes. So they tend to grow their companies. If they're closely held, they'll grow their companies 2 to 3x consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they were an $8 million company, they might get to a $24 million company working with
Awesome.
us using our methods for a year or two.
Mm,
I had one client in bankruptcy. Well, he was near bankruptcy, had no revenue, and I got him up to a 1.25 million very
awesome.
quickly within
Awesome.
months. So we've historically measured our success by their success. Um, I tell people I'm the least strategic about my own business, but certainly the cash flow and the revenue, the annual revenue is a metric that I've always tracked. Being an
Mhm.
accountant,
Yeah.
and I tell people if you don't have complete, accurate, and timely financial statements, then what you have is a hobby.
Mm.
So I try to walk my talk with that. I have a
Yeah.
meeting once a month with my bookkeeping firm, and they walk me through some things, and I answer questions and stuff. So I try to really stay on top of that closely because I know the
Awesome.
power of it.
Awesome. Okay. Can you share a little bit about your method that produces all these 2x and 3x's? Can you share a bit of that, your method?
Well, so because I was a CPA when I started this work, I still
Mm-hmm.
have my CPA license at that time. I really tried to avoid doing any kind of financial statement analysis. I didn't ask to see the financials. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't um, I didn't include that in my meetings with the founder, the owner, or the
Mm-hmm.
leadership team. But they would tell me anecdotally, "Oh, we just passed this mark, or we just passed that mark." And the way that we did that was so simple, Phoebe, so
Mm-hmm.
simple.
Yeah.
Um, it was helping those leaders and founders engage their people more effectively and more consistently.
Yeah.
And then what that did was it broke down the barriers between the different layers of management, and people
Mm.
felt safer. They gave them psychological safety. That's not my term. That's a term that the psychology people use. So it
Mm-hmm.
gave them psychological safety. It empowered them to
Mm-hmm.
step up and speak up, to say that where they had an idea or where they had a concern. And
Yeah.
then it created this encouraging environment. They knew that they were going to see the founder regularly and the
Mm-hmm.
CFO regularly. It was a female CFO that brought me into that company, and so it was so the younger people that were engaged more effectively, more consistently by the founder. Those are the people that grew up from 8 million to 25 million because they were more technologically advanced. They were
Yeah.
more savvy.
Mm-hmm.
But the most interesting thing was that founder of that company. I got that client in December of 1997, so it was a long time ago. But I've sold the work that he and I created together. I've sold it to every client since then, and almost 300 clients. And he had they had gone to a workshop with an attorney about how to bonus your employees and then sell the company to those
Mm-hmm.
top tier leaders in the company. So they were already on that path when they met me. And so they had 22 people that owned like 0.002% of the firm,
Yeah.
0.05%, very small amounts. And so um, so when he started meeting with his people regularly, 6 of those 22 people all of a sudden there was no drama, no performance improvement plans, no crucial conversations. they just on their own, they saw that they didn't want that very soft approach to accountability. They did not want to be accountable, even in that soft way. He was real soft. He made me and you look like a tail of the honey. He was just so soft and so gracious, and but very intuitive. And so I said to him, if you can, when you meet with your employees, if you can pretend they're your clients, because that's how he had built it to 8 million. He had delivered all of that revenue, just about 80% of it at least, and that's why the CFO brought me in. She said he's going to eventually retire, and then we're going to go out of business because he's the only one bringing in the bulk of the revenue. So anyway, within 60 days, 6 of those people had wonderful job opportunities across the country, and it was all legitimate. Like their spouse got a promotion, or they decided they want to be closer to family, or they decided they want to go to work for one of their clients, whatever. It was all legitimate reasons, but they left with their head held high and their dignity intact,
Mm-hmm.
and they got out. And so that kind of cleaned house for
Mm-hmm.
him.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those people had been a little bit deadwood, and then over the next year, 2 people came to him. One wanted to take a step sideways.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I've never been good at managing the projects and leading the teams. Let me just become the guru in these 3 areas.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yeah, that's perfect. And then the other guy came and he said, I'm not really good in this leadership role, but I was a great project manager. Could I take a step back and
Mm-hmm.
be a project manager? And he knew that, he felt safe enough to say that. He knew they wouldn't, cut his pay or anything. And so then that left 14, and those 14, like I said, were more technologically advanced and
Okay.
more, and felt safer to experiment. And this is really a crucial piece. We don't want them just to come up with their ideas.
Mm-hmm.
We want them to feel safe enough to share their concerns, because with every NASA explosion, and also the BP British Petroleum oil spill in the Gulf Coast,
Yeah.
all of those things have been researched and researched and researched, and there's the consistent theme is somebody knew in advance
Yeah.
that the system was failing, or the process was incomplete, or there was a weak
Yeah.
link. Somebody knew, and usually those were fairly low level people, but they
Mm.
they either couldn't make the executives hear them, or they
Yeah.
didn't have the courage. They had
Yeah.
too much fear. They didn't have the courage to speak up. So we want to get the concerns out, especially, but we
Yeah.
also want to get all those ideas too, because that's where the growth is going to come from.
Awesome. That's very good. I think
Yeah.
some you've mentioned, but let's see in case you have any more thing to say. Which metrics are you focused on improving right now?
Oh, right. Okay. Well, for me, it's the number of clients and
Mm-hmm.
the amount of the revenue, the monthly revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tend to keep the clients 2 or 3 years. And so, like I'm on year 3 with one client now. I know any day now that client could go away.
Okay.
They'll say, oh, yeah, we feel like we got everything we needed.
Okay.
I don't really think that'll happen with that client, but it could happen. I have to be prepared
Yeah.
to have people in my pipeline to replace them.
Okay. That's awesome.
So, yeah, so simple metrics, not anything complicated.
Awesome. That's very good. So where do you want the helping group to be in the next 12 months?
Well, I want us to get closer to that $2 million revenue amount annually, and then I want to figure out how to keep it at that level. And
Okay.
and I want to move myself into some different roles. I of course I'm always going to do the coaching and the facilitating. It's like oxygen for me. I have to do it. I would probably get depressed if I couldn't do it. But I
Mhm.
also want to expand. I want to build some muscle in the sales capacity, because I haven't really been effective in that. And I
Okay.
want to I want to build some. I've done this informally, but I want to formalize that I'm a lead person on the client relationship. So
Awesome.
one of my gifts is giving people bad news and they don't even know it's bad news.
Oh, okay.
So with my 4 independent contractors and other resources that I can bring in, I
Mhm.
want to be the one to deliver the bad news, so that there's nothing that goes south.
Okay.
Hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are there any key specific KPIs that you're tracking right now towards your?
Well,
Mhm.
the number of clients and the monthly revenue. Let me think. Oh, and then I always have tracked my hours per week that I
Okay.
work. Because,
Okay.
see, I had come out of that workaholism because my dad was a workaholic. So he trained me to be a
Hmm.
workaholic as an accountant.
Hmm.
And I had worked long, long hours. And I just was committed to not working those long hours. So I do track my hours. So I work about a 20, 25 hour work week some weeks. And then some weeks I'll work 30 or 35 hours, but never more than 35 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. You mentioned that your goal is to hit the 2 million mark every year. Keep a consistent pipeline, client pipeline, and what else? I can't remember the third one. If I remember. So, why? What steps have you
Uh,
taken towards that?
well, I've been working with a new marketing team, and that's been really successful.
Okay.
So I think that that's going to make a big difference. And then my content is so valuable.
Okay.
So I have two books. One's a published book. I should have
Mm-hmm.
a copy of it here, but I don't. It's called Alignment for Success: Bringing Out the Best in Yourself, Your Teams, and Your Company. And
Yeah.
the first two chapters, well, the first chapter is on chaos, the high cost of chaos if you don't build the alignment. And then the second and third chapter on self leadership.
Yeah.
Bill George, the former CEO of Medtronic, who's now a Harvard professor, he says that in one of his books, he says when he saw leaders fail, it was never because they failed to lead their team; it was because they failed to lead themselves.
Oh, that's sweet.
And see, that was for me to recover from that workaholism and also some other stuff because my dad had put me to work. I had some other baggage because my dad had put me to work when I was just a little kid in a CPA firm. So I had some baggage that I took with me when I left home, and so I had to work through all that baggage. But the coach training was perfect for it. It was the thing that really turned the helping people. You know, my secret sauce is helping people take responsibility for
Mm.
things and to dissolve that conflict, not just resolve the conflict, dissolve it. So I have, like I said, I have two books: Alignment for Success, Bringing Out the Best in Yourself, Your Teams, and Your Company. And then chapter 4 is on team alignment, and chapter 5 is on organizational wide alignment. And then I have an ebook that's been really important for my life and many clients. It's called the Respond, Not React Playbook, and
Okay.
it's 9 simple, practical time management habits. And when you put the first 4 in place, you create white space on your calendar.
Wow.
Who listening to this podcast, who doesn't need more white space? Everybody needs more white space. And
Yeah.
then in that white space, it gives you 7 things that you could do. The other 7 habits are things that you could do with that newfound white space. You could prepare for meetings more effectively. You
Hmm.
could prepare to delegate more effectively. You could
Yeah.
prepare to solve problems once and for
Hmm.
all.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. You also mentioned that you're not too techy in AI, but you're ready to learn, or you're open to it, and you even say you want to start this holiday weekend.
Yeah.
So, what specific areas you want to start with or learn apart from your presentation, because that's the only way you've said you use it and you're
Mm-hmm.
testing and all that.
Well, I think the strategy questions I'll start asking. I could take my clients, even past clients, and I could say,
Mhm.
okay, this is the scenario. What would you recommend the CEO do to get to 10 million or 20
Mhm.
million
Mhm.
or 200 million
Mhm.
in revenue? And see
Yeah.
what they say. That could really replace. They say it's going to replace coaching to some degree, and
Well,
even 10, 15 years ago, I heard that it was going to replace radiologists, and I have a former client is a chain of radiology clinics.
mm.
So I've been watching that carefully. But what they say is it's not going to replace it, but it's going to make it easier for the radiologist physician level
Yeah.
radiologist to
Yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of talking points out there, but again, we'll get to that but at the right time. Oh,
okay, yes.
okay. So if you had a magic wand to fix just one thing in the helping group that is holding you back or slowing you down, what would that one thing be?
Well, it'd be Katharin as a salesperson. Yeah,
Okay.
I need that magic wand. See, I'm highly empathetic, and so I'm more focused on the potential client's comfort zone than I am on my comfort zone, which is to sell the
Okay.
work. So
Okay.
yeah, so sometimes I cut them too much slack, whatever.
Okay. So you're saying that you want to be more of a salesperson.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
want to rely on the referrals and the
I mean,
introductions any longer because one, I don't live there in Phoenix anymore. Of course, I've
mhm.
worked all over the country. I've worked from Juneau, Alaska to
Mhm.
Brussels, Belgium, all
Mhm.
through referrals. But
Awesome.
I want to get more Mississippi-based clients, and I want
Yeah.
to be more effective in closing people.
Yeah. So marketing is sales is one of them. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. So what kind of well, I said signals are you looking for to make sure that you're getting closer to sell more and close more?
Well, my pipeline,
Okay.
and
Okay.
it's really robust. It's probably more robust today than it's ever been.
Okay.
Yeah. So a robust pipeline is the key for me.
Yeah. So if you get it going to the point, what will it unlock for you and the helping group?
Well, I just just more people to impact. People were clients over the last 30 years, starting with the CFO that brought me into that first firm that grew
Hmm.
from 8 million to 24 million. She said it first, but then
Hmm.
clients have consistently said to me very conspiratorially, like they're whispering, they don't want anybody to know this, but
Hmm.
they'll say to me, Katharin, since I met you and we started using your tools, uh, I make more money and work less hours.
Oh, awesome.
And so that's what I want for my clients, is to make more money, work less hours.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and how that happens is I help them be more strategic in how they
Mm-hmm.
use their time, and then I
Hmm.
help them develop their people. Because if you're not developing your people, then you're literally robbing them of their opportunities, their career opportunities.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I say that all the time to people.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Is there any more thing you want to share with us, Catherine? Because I know I'm so enjoying it that I'm just listening. Is there any more stuff you want to share with us?
Well, I could share about how to dissolve, not just resolve conflict, if
Okay,
that would be of
okay,
interest.
okay, okay. Maybe in 2, 3 minutes, can you give us that?
Okay, so you have to when you're in a conflict situation, somebody's not performing at the level that you need to, you have them perform. You need to negotiate those expectations, and a key piece of a negotiating expectations is to take responsibility.
Hmm.
Where in the past have you failed this employee?
Hmm.
Were you clear when you launched this initiative and hired this person, that were you clear how success was going to be measured?
Hmm.
Probably not.
Hmm.
And did you give them enough time to really understand why their role was so important? When people understand why their role is important, they'll give you 250% loyalty, commitment, work ethic. But if they don't understand that, then they're just going to be like a cancer in your organization, gossiping and whatever. So you want to figure out what you could have done differently on day one, and then go to that person and say, Bob, I'm so sorry you haven't been more successful. I'm going to take responsibility for this, this, and this. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to clean this up. So let's meet tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Come up with a new action plan. So you're not letting Bob off the hook, but because you're going to develop a new action plan with Bob, but you are taking responsibility. And that again creates a psychological safety. And then Bob, not usually in the first meeting, but in the second or third meeting, most often the Bobs of the world will say, I should have come to you. I knew I wasn't being successful.
Hmm. Awesome. That's very
It's really,
sweet.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, thank you, Catherine, for sharing so much. Your insight, leadership is very tremendous and